questions. Two at the back and so on here. Whatever order you want.
I'll start.
Sorry, what's your name?
Sorry. I'm Elliot.
Elliot.
Yeah. Do you find that nowadays people are more offended than when you started stand-up?
More offended by comedians doing shows, you mean?
By everything.
Oh, right, okay. Yes, second question.
I'm Lindsay. I'm not trying to out any of your future campaign leads, but what's your views on the arts in schools?
The arts in schools?
The arts, because it's quite an underappreciated, almost degree,
It's quite an underappreciated
area
right.
of schools. What would you do, and what are your views? Would you make it more prominent or not as prominent?
Okay. Yeah, third question.
Ben.
Ben.
It's just with regards to languages.
Yeah.
What worked best for you learning them, and how long did it take? I mean, obviously you've gone through quite a few languages, and I find it quite impressive because I've tried to learn Spanish and it's taken me a long time.
Oh no, I've got a good answer. No, I have. It's so bloody simple. It's slightly nightmarish, but it's quite simple. Okay. Are people more offended? Elliot. I don't think. I think we're more tolerant. If I look back, being in comedy, you have to, or coming from comedy, you have to be a bit of a comedy student. I think people were really swearing. I saw there was a documentary or an interview with Frank Skinner last night. I think people were, because he did a special thing on Panorama about swearing, and I think acts were swearing off stage in their real lives and then going on stage and being very clean. I think the alternative movement, the alternative comedy movement, which happened in the after punk and then it's basically taken over comedy in the UK, it pushed into a place where you could swear. It was more real. It was based on being more real. If people swear in real life, then they can swear on stage. Whether they swear a bit more than they swear in real life, that is difficult to say. But I do feel that the audiences are more, they're less offended. I think the people who were offended before are still offended. They're just the same people being offended. But I think generally, because the live shows have become so huge, now we're playing in arenas, that force, people have turned this into videos, people can watch the videos, and therefore the idea that swearing actually gets onto television after the 9 o'clock watershed has changed the way people watch comedy, and so it's become more accepted. So, and I think people always complain about swearing because they say it shows a lack of vocabulary. I think it shows an increased vocabulary because we know all those extra swear words, which is my argument. But generally, I think we are slightly more relaxed, even though I think it waxes and wanes. It depends whether the press decides to let's make a thing of this or not. I think the arts. Creativity is a fantastic thing to do, and you can create in business, you can create in politics. Where there's just something there, and you say, let's try this new thing, is a beautiful place. The arts, I would encourage it, in schools, and I would encourage people to get involved with it because it can open your brain in such a way. And I didn't do much creativity. I was trying to get into school plays, but I wasn't really creating, and I wasn't actually getting into school plays. But I became the creative person because I was actually blocked. I think a lot of what made me get as far as I did was the word no, and me wanting to push past that. When I was at Sheffield Uni, and Sheffield University, which I was in for 1 year before I sort of ran away, but stayed in the uni, which is quite interesting. The guy who ran the theatre there, he just kept saying no. He kept saying his main thing was blocking people. So I learned to get past the no thing. And in the arts, it's always going to be, I feel it, unfortunately, it's always going to be something unfunded. But it's great for people to get into it. If they learn creativity, it just opens their brain. It's almost godlike. It's what I think probably God is, if I don't believe in it. God upstairs. So yeah, so that's what I feel on that. And language, yes. I only know. I now speak French, about 60% fluently. Je peux faire un spectacle en français maintenant. Et c'est avant il était très difficile de faire un spectacle en français, mais maintenant je peux parler français assez bien pour faire un spectacle ou improviser si je veux. If you didn't understand that, that's all very funny that bit. And the trick is you just got to go to the country and do deep immersion. Or you can do it, because I believe there are courses, probably in the UK as well, and others ones in America, where you actually go to a place and you're completely surrounded by people just speaking French, German, Japanese, whatever it is. But the deep immersion thing is the way. I have a friend who came with me when I was in 2000. I did 2 weeks in French in Paris, and she came over. She was a makeup artist. She became a sort of tour manager at the time. And she only spoke oui, non, merci, that's all she knew. She stayed on, I got her to work on a film, she met a guy, and then she started living with the guy, so the relationship started, but for 2.5 years, so she moved to France, and for 2.5 years, she still was getting by on oui, non, merci, and a bit more than that, because she had this fear thing. And then in a 6-month period, because of work, because she was a makeup artist on films, and they were saying, well, there's a lot of Americans coming in, we need someone who can translate. She got better than me. In 6 months, she got better than me, and I've been doing it for years. 8 years at school, got an A at O-level, then I stopped it, and then I just kept pushing it. But in 6 months, she got better than me, and that was deep immersion. And she corrected me when she came to visit me on tour in 2003. And I'm very proud, very annoyed at where she'd got to, and that's what happened. Deep immersion is the way. So if you, what language is it?
Spanish.
Spanish. So go to Madrid, choose a city, try and get yourself in there. 1 month is great, 2 months is better, 3 months. So 3 months is enough to just rip the lid off it. And it's the deep immersion is the thing, and it's how kids learn. If you think about it, the kids are just there, and they, as we're growing up, we all get bombarded by all these words in one language. Now the bilingual and the trilingual kids, they can take 3 languages. And my theory on that, by the way, is that is the idea of humiliation. The reason I think all kids, and we found that all kids can do this up to the age of 6, they can pick up more than one language, I think is because the kids don't understand humiliation. If the other kids try to go, no, you just said a stupid thing, the kid that's being humiliated doesn't understand what they're doing, and really the kid who's trying to humiliate that doesn't actually understand how this works, or what a tool it is, humiliation. So I think that's what it is. When we get to become adults, we get scared. That's why when we're drunk, we're better at languages. Everyone find they're better at languages? Because your humiliation thing just goes right down, and you just say, no, c'est pas difficile, and then you just go off on it. So I've only got French and a bit of German at the moment, but I will get the German and the Spanish and the Russian and the Arabic. And I keep saying it sounds pretty cool, but I've got to go and do that. I can't back out. So I can't back out. But yes, deep immersion. If anyone wants to learn language, get there, deep immersion. And Rosetta Stone I think is pretty good as well. but it's still, I've gone and done Rosetta Stone, then you go off and do something else, you watch a film, and it just floats away. So it's the constant bombardment with the thing.